Good evening, shortcuts. This is the second video for Wednesday, October 25th. Price list goes out at 9 p.m. This is one of the most varied and kind of out there lists I think I've ever had. It starts off, it's all Japanese. Yes, it is. All Japanese pressings. But it goes from power pop to rock pop to definitely a jazz classic in there too, to some of the great compilation albums and some, I don't know, all sorts. Some funk and some reggae, roots reggae, and some new wave. So there you go, a smorgasbord. Well, I'm choosing a rather idiosyncratic record for the Japanese list this week. This is purely about my taste. I was introduced to a band called Big Star when I was at university. I read a review of a CD that compiled their first two albums, which had been flops, no other word for it. And this music magazine called Uncut was raving about them. And it was my first year at university. Or maybe it was my A-level year, because I remember creating my email, my first ever email address, December_boy at hotmail.com, which still exists, and it's still mine, because of the song September Girls. It's, December Boys Got It Bad. I loved it. And this genre, power pop, became something that I just heavily invested in. There was a record shop in Notting Hill called Minus Zero. I have no idea whether it still exists. This guy, it was obviously a record shop, it was a CD shop. And I lived in Northwest, NW6, and I would travel to Notting Hill just to go to this record shop. It only opened on a Friday and a Saturday. And the guy in there was a power pop aficionado, and he introduced me to bands like Jellyfish and Orange Crush and Big Star and all these kind of bands. And so I've always loved this genre. It is about kind of Beach Boysian harmonies, but with a crunchy guitar, songs that are 3 minutes or less, get in, get out, a killer melody. Big Star, Badfinger, they're some classic bands. To a certain extent, probably there's a few American bands that are in the mix, of course, but there's this band that I discovered because of this club. So I opened the box about 2 years ago, and the first record that I picked up was this. It was four guys, I'm going to show you in a second, staring at me with kind of their eyes kind of the only part of the record sleeve that's coloured in in a really cool way. And I put it on because I'd never heard of it, and I listened to it so many times since. It is this. Now, first three records are white label promos tonight, which I'm pretty excited about. It's this. It's called Present Tense by a band called Shoes. So the little colour scheme with the record, present tense, and then they use it to colour in little bits of their faces. Similarly on the back. Why do I love this record so much? It is pretty much 34 minutes long, six songs on each side. Every single one of them is a killer. Every single one. I don't know much about them. I think they're from the northeast of the US. From the opening track, but actually the first three are extraordinary. Tomorrow Night, Too Late, Hanging Around With You. I don't think it's on Spotify. You can find them on YouTube. It is is in melodic guitar rock pop, but with this harmonic drive everywhere. Every little bit where they can sneak in a harmony, they do. And unlike, I think, Cheap Trick, where the harmonies become almost overpowering, with this band, they just deliver time on time. I love this album, and this is a white label promo. And it's still not that expensive. You'll never you're never gonna find Present Tense by Shoes anywhere. You know, you're never gonna bump into it. I actively seek it out. I've been writing to the guys in Shibuya for 2 years saying, I want another one of these, please, for this moment. Because I love it. It's an amazing album. I have no idea why they weren't massive. I mean, they're handsome dudes, and they could play. I've heard apparently their live shows were great. It just didn't happen for them in the same way that it didn't happen for Big Star. And I think this record is as good as anything Big Star did. And that is probably heresy to some, but I don't care. It's an amazing album. I love it. Anyway, Present Tense by Shoes. If any of you seek it out, there's the white label promo, by the way. I don't know whether I'll put the promo or the copy I have up, but either way, they both sound great. Anyway, it's amazing. As is this next record. Holy crap. What a record this is. A white label promo of Rejuvenation by The Meters. For those of you who've been around this block for a while, you will know how much I love The Meters. Leo Nockentelli on guitar. Typically produced, this record was produced by Alan Toussaint and The Meters. This is New Orleans funk to the ultimate degree. From the opening track, people say, to the third track, Just Kissed My Baby, was the first Meters song that I ever heard. And it is basically this incredibly funky drum beat with a drop bass and a single one or two lines just repeated over and over, and they just make it work. But a lot of people love this record for the highlight that is It Ain't No Use, which takes up 12 minutes of side 2. It is a funk workout par excellence. For those of you who've heard this record, and I know there are some of you out there who bought it from me, you know what this record is. Put some comments in. Tell people in the comments about this record. All right, the third in the sequence of white label promos is... it's such a good record. Sparkle in the Rain. Simple Minds. A little bit of magic sprinkled over this by Steve Lillywhite. Of course it sounds a little bit like U2. But they smash it out of the park. They try so hard. I mean, I think from the opening salvo, they put it there, a new drummer in the band for this record too, and you could tell he really wanted to make his mark. The drum sound is massive. It's got this interesting technique, which I think is a little bit utopian. If you think about the second track, and probably the best track on the record, Book of Brilliant Things, it starts off with a relatively simple drum beat and kind of fairly standard melody, albeit good, and it just builds and builds, more drama, more kind of intrigue added in, different things. Yeah, it's a great track and a really interesting record. White label promo, Japanese first press, Sparkle in the Rain. All right, I'm actually going to change the order a little bit. I want to talk about a jazz record next. every so often, the boys in Shibuya put in something that when I see it, I go, what is that? There's two in a row, actually, where I thought that. They've been putting these little 10-inch records in. And this one, for a reason that I don't know what, they've never done this before, but you can see it's sealed. So they put a message on this saying it was mint, but I don't know. I don't know if someone's opened it and put it back. Either way, I don't want to open it again. But this is Genius of Modern Music, Thelonious Monk. So this is his earliest recordings on Blue Note. It includes a song that he wrote that became a standard, including the name of a Miles Davis record, Round Midnight. It is, even though it's a 10-inch, it is 33 RPM. It features Art Blakey on drums, and I think it's Kenny Drew and Lou Donaldson are part of the band. And it's basically his first ever recordings on Blue Note, compiled. The record, this was how it was first released. It was released as a 10-inch, apparently, in the 50s. And Blue Note did a Japanese run to replicate the original pressings. I'm pretty sure it's mono, because typically, because I can't open this to investigate, but typically when it's stereo, it'll set across there. It doesn't say stereo, so I suspect this is mono. It's a classic in so many senses of the word. So there you go. Thelonious Monk. Genius of Modern Music. And you know what? Probably justified. You can see there, Blue Note 5000. It was really one of their earliest records. It is mono. Yeah, I thought it was. You can see it there. Yeah, it's a really cool thing. And I thought the same thing when I saw this, because I've never seen this before. Although, when I see the original kind of blue Trojan label, I get kind of excited. And I love this sleeve. The Dreams of Owen Gray. So what do? Of course, I gotta go and find out more about Owen Gray. So apparently, Owen Gray was maybe the biggest star in Jamaica for quite some period. And the reason was that he broke out of the kind of old style kind of dance hall music, and he became a star because he kind of drove the move to modern kind of roots reggae in Jamaica. But he never really made it famous anywhere else. Owen Gray, one of Jamaica's legendary artists, has come a long way since the days of ska and rocksteady. He was there when ska became kind of, the Jamaican, almost like the Jamaican national music. But times have changed since then, and the music of the 50s and 60s has taken new routes, yet Owen Gray manages to dominate the scene. With his golden voice, he reaches out to the heart of our nation. Owen is a talented musician and songwriter. If ever a word is mentioned superstar, then this is the man. Incredible. He was a legend in Jamaica, and I've never heard of him. And so I just thought, you know what? He wrote every song. And some of these, when you listen to them, you go, oh yeah, I've heard that. That's been covered. And it's right. It's been covered by so many different people. And of course, Sly Dunbar on drums. Of course, he's just incredible. So again, this little project that's going on, it turns up records like those last two so regularly. I just can't believe how much fun it is. And then you get, I've got a series of classics here. I'm just going to quickly run through. Oh, before I get to the classics, there's one I'm going to pull out. Increasingly, I've been getting these really interesting soundtracks. So this is the soundtrack to Gremlins by Jerry Goldsmith. And this is another white label promo. I've been reading about the soundtrack, and I'm a member of the Vinyl Me Please Club, and Vinyl Me Please have recently announced that they will be running a stream of soundtracks, and on their Discord, people are crying out for that one. So there you have it. Again, I'm running short time, so I'm going to run pretty quick. I'm going to leave that one for another day. So here we've got 70s and 80s Aerosmith. Dude Looks Like a Lady, Angel. Oh no, this wasn't Angel. What was on this record? Definitely Dude Looks Like a Lady. This record had its hits. So Ragdoll. Angel was on this one. I was right. Permanent Vacation and Rocks. Aerosmith. Some rock royalty. Easily the hardest Michael Jackson record to find in this condition. Japanese first press promo, all inserts and magical touches intact. Bad, The Way You Make Me Feel, Speed Demon, Liberian Girl, Just Good Friends. Every one of those was released as a single. Another Part of Me, Man in a Mirror, I Can't Stop Loving You, Dirty Diana, and Smooth Criminal. I think it was 9 out of the 10 tracks were released as a single. It's ridiculous. Anyway, Michael Jackson's bad. More 80s royalty. David Bowie's Let's Dance. Getting increasingly hard to find at any kind of reasonable price. It's so expensive now. I think it's because, just Bowie records in general are now becoming incredibly tightly held. For those of you who picked up Japanese pressings of Bowie records from me, every single one of them has gone up in value, and this one is no exception. It's partly because they're brilliantly recorded and they're the best you can get, really, and so everyone wants them. It's incredible. All right, we've got a couple of great soul records, one from the 60s, one from the 50s. Otis Redding's second record. The great Otis Redding sings soul ballads. So much about this record is incredible. Backing band, Booker T and the MGs. You got Steve Cropper, Donald Duck Dunn. You also have a Mr. Isaac Hayes playing piano. Apparently his first ever recording session. He was so unknown and so kind of beneath, he didn't even credit him. So the Japanese first press has got the insert actually part of the back sleeve. That kind of changed, kind of late 60s. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful record. Yeah, I'm trying to think what my favorite song on this one is. Probably Chained and Bound, I reckon. But it's really cool. You can't go wrong. Beautiful sounding record. And the other soul record I had here is from the 70s. This is Bobby Womack's I Don't Want What the World Is Coming To. And the reason this record got on my agenda was because I can't remember whether it was, I think it may have been, I Don't Know, Superstar or It's All Over Now, which was ripped completely for Rod Stewart's hit single, Do You Think I'm Sexy? Like, completely ripped the melody, 100%, just lifted it. It's the amazing Bobby Womack. All right, now, we've got a couple of great compilations here. This compilation was released off the back of the success of the American Graffiti soundtrack, and it compiles the Beach Boys singles from the early 60s, kind of 62 to 65. So you've got Safari, Surfing Safari, Surfer Girl, Catch a Wave. This is Little Juice Coupe in My Room, I Get Around. So it's that era of just perfect pop nuggets that the Beach Boys were just, just handing out into the ether kind of 10 times a year. And this record was such a massive hit. It was, I can't remember one of those, books of the 1,000 greatest records of all time, or 1,001 records you have to hear before you die, but this is in it. Because it's just pure pop perfection. But I did more than that. If you like pop nugget, Beach Boys, Endless Summer is your bag. But if you like the full kit and caboodle Beach Boys, this is the Japanese pressing to have. This is called Made in the USA, and it has the full story of the Beach Boys. The liner notes are incredible, but this track list is above and beyond. Listen to this. So, of course, you get the pop nuggets: Surfing Safari, 409, Surfing USA, Surfer Girl, Dance, Dance, Dance. And side 2, Fun, 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 I Get Around, Help Me Rhonda, California Girls, Barbara Ann, which aren't on in the summer. And then side 3, incredible. Listen to this for a side of music. Good Vibrations, Heroes and Villains, Wouldn't It Be Nice, Sloop John B, God Only Knows, Caroline No. Isn't that incredible? And that's just side 3. It is unbelievable. And then, side 4, you get Do It Again and others. I've got this compilation on my shelf. I love it. I was trying to find another one. This one came my way. It's amazing. And then finally, we got 2 hard cardboard slabs of the greatest rock from the 70s. We've got Deep Purple's best record, in my opinion. Who do we think we are? The original Warner Green Label, the bluesiest, hard-rocking, best album they ever did. I love this record. Woman from Tokyo, Super Trooper. Incredible. And this little-known record from the 70s. I know a bunch of you have grabbed it. I haven't had such a nice copy in donkeys. It is in immaculate condition. It is the hard cardboard gatefold of the Eagles Hotel California. Absolutely fantastic condition. You cannot go wrong. Another record is getting increasingly hard to find. So there you have it. I told you an idiosyncratic list, but I guess none of us are watching these videos just to see the same thing over and over. Please leave your comments. If any of you have the meters, love the meters, if any of you know anything about Present Tense by Shoes, or that Thelonious Monk record, or anyone knows anything about Owen Gray, drop me a comment. I'd love to hear from you all. Thank you so much if you've watched this far. The price list will go out 9 p.m. on Wednesday. As always, good luck. Good luck trying to figure out what to do with that. But that's all part of the fun. Thank you so much. Have a great week. And looking forward to Wednesday. Bye.